And What a Monday night. 5 people already. This is big doings. Welcome, Virgil Doc, Tom Anderson, Zoo, busting my chops before the show even begins. So let's clear up some misconceptions. Here. Wait, can we see that? Right? Success. I bought right before the show. Okay. June 22, 2021. I just bought some Bitcoin, right? Right before the show. So we gotta talk. We got a bunch of things, all sorts of stuff, and we have to pay close attention because it's easy to lose things. It's easy to get lost, especially on social media. So we got to be like this guy over here. We're gonna be like my good friend. Where is it, Joe? When it shows up on the screen, you'll be impressed. Oh, the suspense. This is you. You have to be Sherlock Holmes Pepe. You have to be the world's smartest frog, okay? And you have to examine things very, very closely, because if you don't, if you go too quickly and you miss something, it's going to cost you a lot. So we're gonna look at stuff closely. We're gonna examine what's real, what's not real, and hopefully gonna clarify some things for you guys. Make sure to smash up that like button. Do not forget to. It only takes a second, and it really pisses off the NSA. So that'll be a good thing. And okay, so let's stop sharing this. What did I call tonight's stream? I called tonight's stream Marco Polo, If You Can, which I think was the name of a spy novel, to be perfectly honest. And I don't remember why it stuck in my head for as long as it has. But Marco Polo was a Venetian. He was a Guinea, and he was born in, when was he born? 1254. I don't know what day, but he went to China when the Mongols ruled China. Came back to Europe with a lot of money and a new monetary technology, which was paper money. And I remember when I was a kid, there was what was made for TV movies where the polos are like in front of this audience of wealthy Venetians, and they're in rags and stuff. And Marco Polo pulls out a piece of paper and he says, "Oh, this is how much money I have in the Genghis Khan savings and loan." Back in Beijing, and then somebody takes it from him and holds it over a candle, and they burn it, and everybody laughs. Oh, so much for your riches. And Marco Polo's like, "You just burned," and he quotes some ridiculous amount of gold guineas or something like that, and everyone laughs because they had never seen paper money. That technology did not exist in Europe, and Marco Polo was the first person to bring it. That paper money technology from China. So and it worked out a lot better, really, if you consider for all the flaws of European monarchy, and we don't have enough time to list all the flaws of European monarchy. But once the concept of paper money took hold in Europe, the economy took off. You know what I mean? The economy did really, really well, and I don't need to see that. Much better than the Chinese economy ever did. So the Chinese had a good idea, and once the Europeans saw it, they took it and improved upon it, and China sort of fell behind for the next, 600 years at least. So is that repeating itself today? I think it is. Okay, so here's the next share, and this comes from today. Let's see how quick this pops up. How quickly this shows up on my screen. See how I am all in all. Is it big enough? There it is. Yeah, Chinese logistics firm airlifted Bitcoin mining machines to Maryland. Okay, 3,000 pounds of ASICs, of those super high-tech Bitcoin miners. Those video game chips are being taken from China, because China, it looks like they really have at least partially outlawed Bitcoin. And the Chinese miners are leaving China. And that's probably part of the reason why there's a big dump, because the Chinese need cash to move all this stuff. And as I remember from people that I know in air cargo, sending anything to China is a logistical nightmare paperwork wise. And I'm guessing importing things, computer chips from China like this that are not sanctioned by Microsoft or Dell or something like that, I'll bet you it's even more of a headache. And with little or no notice, you know what I mean? Flying all the stuff over and getting it set up, getting it hooked up to electricity cannot be easy. But Bitcoin mining is moving to North America. It's leaving China, which will be good for a number of reasons. One, it'll be more decentralized. And two, it kind of kills that narrative of China controls Bitcoin. Also today, there's a Canadian company called Bitfarm, Bitfarm, that is now publicly traded for the first time on the NASDAQ. They are a hydroelectric dam company. So they generate hydroelectric power, and they are dedicated, to mining Bitcoin entirely with the power of waterfalls coming from Canada. And I think I'm trying to think of the ticker symbol is, I think it's BITF. It's like a $5 stock. It's trading around $5. But a lot of things are happening. People are looking at the price action, the day-to-day, week-to-week price action, and they're thinking, "Oh my God, is it over?" And I've tried to explain to you guys and to anyone listening that in the long run, you're going to make a lot of money with Bitcoin. But thinking that you're going to buy Bitcoin this week, and then by the end of the week you're going to retire and have, like Elmer J. Fudd, and you're going to have a mansion and a yacht. Okay, that is a really, really unlikely possibility. Everybody says, "I wish I would have bought Bitcoin in 2011." Well, if somebody would have told you about it in 2011, you wouldn't have bought it. You know what I mean? So, but looking at the price appreciation from 2011 to 2021, you think, wow, what an opportunity missed. Well, think about the price appreciation from today to 2031. Think about the next 10 years. If the Bitcoin is appreciated 11 million %, right? 11 million %. If that drops, if the rate of appreciation drops 95%, it's still going to go up. It's still going to go up like a million % in the next 10 years. You know what I mean? If it loses 95% of its momentum, it will still be going up at like literally a million % in the next 10 years. But you got to think in terms of 10 years. You can't. If you think in terms of, I'm on the phone with the Lamborghini dealership, you're going to be disappointed. You know what I mean? And there are plenty of people ready to take advantage of you. You know what I mean? Plenty of people. So let's go with my favorite. I said this twice. My new favorite. Yeah, here. This is a girl I was talking about last week. I couldn't believe it. Right after the show, or the next day I saw this. And if I didn't call it, I do sometimes actually almost impress myself. But here's everybody's favorite astrologer. In the Washington Post, which is the official newspaper of the CIA, right? Technically, it's owned by Jeff Bezos, right? The Amazon blog. Tom Anderson, I want the supermodel and the Coke and the Lambo. Okay, to be honest, you could probably get that. You could rent the car. The girls will rent anyway. And I don't know. I'm not sure what that. Where to get the Peruvian marching dust, but nonetheless, I'm sure it's not that difficult to get. But this woman got a sweetheart piece in the Washington Post. This is the CIA trotting out like their employee of the month or something like that. You know what I mean? And I put those little glowy rings around her. This is the effort you guys don't appreciate. I put like 7 to 10 minutes worth of effort into this show during the week that you don't see. And then you can make these little lines with the editor on your Android photo thing. So that's our girl, and she follows on Instagram, right? She got like, but Instagram is dopey kids, trying to get clout to be famous somehow. Like I don't know what it even. I think Instagram is best monetized by steroid people, by like weightlifters on steroids that are trying to sell you protein powders or something. I don't know what sells on Instagram, but in terms of Bitcoin social media, Bitcoin Twitter is where everybody's at. You want to talk about the stock to flow model, whether you believe in it or you don't believe in it. All the people who have been in Bitcoin the longest, who are the most serious, who are doing the podcast, who are writing the articles for Medium and these various different outlets, really thoughtful articles, which no one's ever going to read because they're boring. But like all of that's on Twitter. So Glowy Girl, she has to be on Twitter, except she was getting trolled, it was really mild trolling. And she's like, oh, I'm going to leave this platform. I'm going to leave this platform. And, of course, this army of simps, whether they're real people or they're bots. Oh, no, don't leave. Don't let them drive you off. Blah, 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 blah. Please, please, please. The simp army comes in and begs her to come back. And she's like, I'm back. I'm not going to leave. Bitcoin is anti-fragile, and so am I. So essentially, the CIA has made the determination that they need her as their Twitter presence, and what she says needs to happen. So a couple of weeks ago, she said, only the bears are going to make money after the 15th. So she works for, like I said, Goldman Sachs, the hybrid Goldman Sachs CIA cybercrimes unit, or currency protection unit, whatever the fuck it is. Who knows what it's called? So they tell her, okay, listen, the Chinese are going to shut down Bitcoin mining. They're going to have to move a bunch of stuff over here. That's going to knock down the price temporarily. Make that your astrological prediction, And so she blows smoke up Uranus and puts that out on Twitter. And look, the price is dumping. This gives her authenticity, right? And in the minds of people like Tom Anderson, who were waiting with the straw in their nose and waiting to trade in their 1999 Hyundai Elantra on a brand new Lambo, like he's waiting for that, and she says, oh, Bitcoin's going to dip. He's like, wow, it happened just like she said. There were people behind the scenes feeding her what to say to make her appear authentic and make her appear to predict the future. Okay, this is like maybe the most perfect intelligence op maybe you could come up with. You know what I mean? You have state level actors behind the scenes pulling strings, but they have a puppet that says this. The Mars is transiting Venus, and Jupiter is going across the Mercury or whatever. And of course, there's always a new fucking thing. There's always a new wrinkle to this shit. But she predicts it, and surprise, surprise, it happens. It would be a good spy movie. But I think they're doing it for real with this chick. I'm almost certain of it, because like, how does an astrologer get a front page write up in the fucking in the CIA newspaper? And the Washington Post is the CIA newspaper. So make no doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt. Where are we? This is, okay, well, we'll do it like this. We will do it like this. What they want you to do, and what that woman's job is to get the simps to follow her and to do whatever she says. You know what I mean? So that woman with her astrology is designed to put you like this. This, by the way, I think this is an actual photograph of Tom Anderson taken earlier today. You know what I mean? I'm not entirely certain because it doesn't. He's a little shorter than Tom, but Glowy Girl is going to get you to do whatever she tells you to do, and they're looking for literally a social media army of simps to follow her off a cliff. So do not be like this, Pepe. Do not just hand your money to some CIA thought, because she says something about the moon transiting, whatever, Pluto or some sort of nonsense. You got to be like we were before, which is this: you must be much more thoughtful. You have to really examine what people are doing and think about it before you make a move. You have to be this Pepe. You know what I mean? This is the Pepe you have to be. You have to be the Pepe who looks at everything very, very closely. You can't just randomly, find some thought on social media, and give her your life savings. You're gonna get wrecked. You're gonna get wrecked. And the confidence that these scammers have is absolutely, completely insane. And I'm going to show you something which, when I saw it, I was like, I literally cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. This is this one was like so in your face, so in your face. So where's that one? Michael Saylor. Yeah, he's the patron saint of massive of massive Bitcoin. But he knows that the price action is only temporary. Like he's right when he says not to worry. Oh, how well can you see this chart? Okay, so this is a chart. I don't know how well you can see it. There was a crypto called Krill, Krill. Now, if you don't know what krill is, and if you haven't had a heart attack, you probably don't know what krill oil is. Krill are these tiny little creatures that float around in the ocean that are they're like related to shrimp, but they're much, 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 much tinier. And they're actually, and you're not going to believe that, well, you should believe this, they're actually what whales eat. Like giant whales, when they scoop up huge tons of seawater into their mouth, what they're doing is they're not drinking seawater, they're screening out the krill in the seawater, and that's what whales eat in order to survive. And there was a crypto that was called Krill, and it went from $260 down to 16 cents in like a day or two. Okay, literally, they put out a crypto there calling you krill, like saying the whales are going to eat you, and people bought into this. There's a level of confidence that they have in their ability to manipulate people. This is working on a lot of people. Okay, they're literally telling you we're going to eat you. You buy into krill and you're going to get eaten by a whale, and that is exactly what happened. Whoever got rugged on this got, there were people that bought that at $20, $30, $50, $100. You know what I mean? It went to $125, $150, $200, and they're thinking, here comes the supermodel, here comes the Lambo. Call up the Coke dealer. You know what I mean? Give him my address, and then while they're watching the screen, and then all of a sudden the price goes from $250 down to 16 cents. 16 cents. Okay, so this is. Let's take a look in the chat. Tom Anderson, did I see what happened to Mark Cuban in Iron Finance? I didn't follow the details, but apparently he got rugged, and I don't think it could happen to a nicer guy. You know what I mean? There's probably no bad thing that could happen to Mark Cuban that I would disagree with. So, did he lose a fortune? Great. I mean, that's wonderful. I'd love to hear that, because he basically made a ton of money on the .com thing, and he got out before it all crashed, and then he bought a sports ball team. You know what I mean? And now sports ball is dying. It's like really, really dying. Some white guy from the NFL just came out as queer. Like that's like you get the Black Lives Matter. They're gonna have the rainbow flag. Then you have the gay football players. Sports ball is dead. It may be a zombie walking a few more years, but sports ball is completely dead. Here's another dead thing that our friends overseas, our friends in Tel Aviv, are this. I've actually seen billboards similar to this thing, but this is I just saw this on Twitter um, that like they're they don't understand how they destroy shit. They don't understand that they are the source of their own fucking destruction. Okay, so this is an advertisement for diamonds. Okay, and it's let me look at it closer on my phone. I don't know how well you can see it, but here, let's go back. Over here. Stand by. So I can read it out to you. It says, oh yeah, the ring that reminds her of surviving cancer, sponsored by Tiffany and Company. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's a very brown hand. It's Shaniqua got cancer and she lived, so I guess you should buy her a diamond. So when your tribe destroys traditional marriage, right? And as long as most Americans were getting married, America had the most money of any country, right? And when America had a very high marriage rate, there were engagement rings and diamonds, and you could sell tons and tons and tons and tons of diamonds because everybody that's going to get married needs a diamond ring. Well, once you break the marriage contract, right? Once you convince women to divorce their husbands and then their daughters never to get married in the first place, well, that kind of knocks the shit out of your fucking diamond industry. You know what I mean? And the diamond industry now has been doing this diamond/cancer mix or swirl. You know what I mean? And for the people who promote these stones that are dug out of the ground for pennies a day by African slaves, cut and polished, for pennies an hour by Asian slaves, and then they try to sell them to an ever shrinking market because what are you going to buy a woman a diamond for? If all women are tattooed thoughts, you know what I mean? If they're all crazy tattooed astrology women, you know what I mean? Who are you buying a diamond for? So you're not marrying these women, right? You know what I mean? You don't buy a diamond for your favorite coke whore. You know what I mean? You're like, you just buy her another 8-ball and then kick her out in the morning. So or whatever, 3 days later when the cocaine runs out. But so this is, I've seen giant billboards where they've said, buy a diamond, fight cancer. That's that industry has so completely collapsed for them. And that was the number one industry for Israel. The diamond exports was like their biggest moneymaker. And it has completely collapsed. And to the point where they're now saying, they got to put the black girl's hand in there. Like most black women don't get married. Like that just doesn't happen for them. You know what I mean? It's the brothers are like, hit it and quit it. You know what I mean? That's the way it is, and that's the way it is for the overwhelming majority of black females, and they accept that, and that's the way they live their lives in most every case. But like if the George Floyd culture, which we've got to remember, there's not one, but there's now 2 bronze George Floyd statues, 2 of them, one in New York City, one in Newark, New Jersey. Once the weather cools off and people and the novelty wears off, I think I'm going to go check out the one in Newark. I'm going to go take a selfie with it or something and post it up here on this show. It'd be funny. But they have to add diversity. They have to put the diversity woman's hand there. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to buy? Like, black dudes don't buy black women diamonds to begin with, and if a black dude finds out, that the bitch that he's knocking boots with got cancer, he'll be out of there fast, and you can say that be racist. Judas Fly Chai, coming in from Los Angeles. Welcome, Mr. Chai. Welcome to the show. You join us already in progress. We got all kinds of great, outstanding things going here. What else do we have? Okay. There's some other general news. Next month, Paraguay is gonna introduce Bitcoin legislation. So in July, another very small Latin American country is going to adopt Bitcoin. Okay, and then Argentina will follow. Colombia will come after that. Mexico may come after that. Trad Dad. I'm not sure I've seen you here before, but welcome to the show, Trad Dad, or Rad Dad. So one by one, Bitcoin is taking over a small country, small Latin American country by small Latin American country, and then they'll get bigger and bigger. Okay. Like I said, the mining's now moving to the US or Canada. And this dump, how much longer it will last, I don't know. But Bitcoin really is on sale. And you may look back 10 years from now and go, why the fuck didn't I buy when it was 31, 32,000? You know what I mean? Like I said at the beginning of the show, I showed you my confirmation. I smashed the buy button right before the show. So that's that. What else? We got here's another CIA op. This one is maybe my favorite one. So the story was, well, I'll just show you. I see if I can, if it shows the actual. Oh, it doesn't show where it came from. Fuck. 5. Okay, there we go. Up there on the screen, I can't remember where this web story came from, but there's someone from Reddit claiming that cyber thieves are sending out phony Ledger hardware wallets. Okay. The Ledger series of hardware wallets, the most popular of all the hardware wallets out there. There's other ones called Open Dimes, there's CoinKite, there's a new one called Jade, but Ledger is the one that is the most popular. Their database was hacked about 18 months ago with a bunch of customers' information on it, and the customers are worldwide customers. So the devices themselves are not hacked and cannot be hacked, and the IRS complains about that they cannot break into these things. So this story that comes from Reddit claims that the packaging is exactly like Ledger packaging. It even comes in a box, shrink wrapped, exactly like the Ledger is shrink wrapped. And then it shows a Ledger device broken in half with some little transistors attached to it. And it claims that this will be mailed to you for free. And then if you set it up, it doesn't get set up in the normal way that you set up a Ledger, which is, I'm not going to go into, but it's a whole bunch of steps. But if you plug it into your PC or your phone, the phony Ledger, right, will put some software on your hard drive or in the rootkit of your Android phone, and then hackers will have access to your Bitcoin. Now, the whole idea of a story like this, and this is another perfect CIA story, is because, and this is almost 100% comes from the CIA Director of Operations. I would bet a lot of money on it. Where are we? So here's where we're gonna go. We got to do, like I said earlier, you have to have a certain specific mindset. The mindset is a very big thing, and this is our mindset. Our mindset is, is right here. This is it. This is Detective Pepe. Let's examine this. All right. So 18 months ago, some, bad actors hacked into a database at Ledger and stole a bunch of names and addresses. Okay. It's a privacy breach. How big of a deal is it? I don't know. Now this story pops up where somebody claims that these super duper cyber thieves, right? They've hacked the Ledger database. Now they have they copied the packaging perfectly, right? And then they even shrink wrapped the box perfectly, but inside the Ledger, it's really a poison pill, and you can't trust it, and it's going to do something to your laptop or your computer or your desktop, and it's going to steal your Bitcoin. And oh my God, right? So, and there's a bunch of questions if you're a detective frog, and I hope you would be, an amphibious, like the Sherlock Holmes of detective frogs, like the world's smartest amphibious detective. That's what I hope you would be when you see these things. Is one, this is absolutely trying to scare the crap out of you. It comes from Reddit. Again, this Reddit as a platform I don't use. It's also used by like young kids, and it's I think some of the dumbest shit out there. Like nobody knows anything. I don't know anybody who uses Reddit. But the part of the problem is you accept the premise, right? That this is a fake device. Like the packaging looks exactly right. So these cyber thieves, they break into Ledger's database. They steal your name and address. Then they find out where Ledger gets its packaging and orders the exact same packaging. And the boxes and bags and everything, right? And then they do all this super like detailed, expensive mimicry, okay, to make their fake ledger just like the real ledger. And then they just randomly mail it out to whom? How the fuck do you know who set up their ledger right, if they lost it, how many they have? Do they have 1? Do they have 7? Do they have 10? Who fucking knows? You know what I mean? And how much Bitcoin is on the ledger? You don't know, right? But these cyber thieves, after all this effort, right, to get the packaging right, the plastic bag with the ink on it, and then the box exactly the way, and then the shrink wrap exactly that way, right? And of course, nobody can find these guys, right? And then they're just going to mail it out to random people and hope that people use it, and then this poison pill of a ledger device, undermines your security and sends your Bitcoin to them. And this story, you're supposed to believe this fucking story. Now, there's no follow up on this story. The story's only a couple of days old, but there's no follow up on the story. Like, understand, Ledger doesn't mail these things out of their fucking living room. They send everything to a drop shipper, right? A drop shipper is just a fucking warehouse full of fucking things, right? There's big metal. I've been in different ones, with particularly computer ones. There's big metal gates, and you can't go through here because it's expensive computer parts. And somebody sends them 1,000 emails, and they just package shit up and just boom, send it out FedEx, or send it out with whatever international mail there is, depending on where the drop shipper is, where it is in the world. But this story of these perfect copies of a ledger device doesn't have any, like, who got sent this thing, right? Who got sent this thing? And why is that not part of the story? Also, why can't you trace the postage? You can literally track everything, right? Why can't you trace the postage back to the drop shipper, right? If this person is a phony drop shipper, you know what I mean? They had to pay for this postage probably in cash up front. Why can't you figure out where it was posted from? The story doesn't tell you that, right? So these are the questions you would ask, okay? If you were going to be like the world's smartest amphibious detective, which is what I would hope you would be, which is what I'm trying to create inside your head right now. Okay? But what it really is some dudes at the CIA, they just ordered shit from fucking Ledger, and they said they got the package, and they go, look, here's the package. You know what I mean? Right? That's what they took a picture of it. That's it. And let's say that's the phony one. And then they opened it up and they said, and here's a device, right? Here's a device. Look, it looks exactly just like the real one. You don't know who the fuck is telling. You have to, the premise that this news story from Reddit is true is complete fucking bullshit. Who's telling you this? What's the fucking source? And really, once again, I cannot shit over this cyber hacker, evil communist party trained me to destroy the Western world, and I will use cyber. You really fucking believe that? So these guys, whoever these cyber hackers are, taking cash out of their pocket, right, to perfectly recreate the ledger packaging and the box and the blah, 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 and then they're just going to randomly mail it out. Fingers crossed, comrade. Perhaps we will take down the West. We will get Lamborghini and supermodel with cocaine and ass crack. Like, you really think that's going to fucking happen? That's really the way they would do it? That's not the way they would fucking do it. But something like this, CIA would do, put out there, and this story may have legs, it may come back in 6 months, may come back in a year. And if people get scared, if you run and you get your fucking ledger and you're like, oh shit, I gotta move my Bitcoin. And after this comes out, they watch to see, is any Bitcoin moving that hasn't moved in a year or hasn't moved in 2 years, right? That's all they want to know. It's like a boxer fainting, right? They faint. They're not really punching. They're just partially, right? And if you move, right, when they faint, if you always move your head one way, they faint. And when they're certain your head's going to move, bang, they come with the fucking knockout blow. So this is a feint. This is CIA or some 3-letter agency putting this story out there. Oh, your uncrackable hardware device is really corrupted. You know, because when somebody sends you something for free in the mail, you just take it in. First off, if somebody sends you something you didn't fucking order, right? Don't touch what's not yours, right? The idea that you're going to just take, you know, that you're such a greedy bastard, you're going to take whatever free thing falls, you know, package on your fucking door, you know, is really, really unlikely. Trad Dad, my buddy turned me onto some streaming coin. It has only one in green, so I went for it. I have no idea what you're talking about. I gotta listen. We have very little to drink tonight. I actually could have gotten more alcohol, but I didn't because I don't want to be hungover tomorrow. It's gonna be like 90 fucking plus degrees, and like it's not bad if I'm hungover and it's like 75 degrees. I can make it through the day, but like hungover and 90 plus degrees, that's gonna fucking suck. So that's pretty much where we are, right? You have the diamond industry collapsing. You got gay ops all over fucking social media, whether it's astrology chick or your ledger has been hacked or will be hacked. You know, if somebody sends you something for free that you didn't pay for, don't accept it. Send it back. But of course, this whole thing's, you know, like I said, it's a fucking op. It's about getting in your head and getting you to react to something that isn't real. Whether that thing is astrology or whatever, you know, or you losing confidence in this thing. Like I said, I own ledgers, more than one. There's, you know, I got to move it. I got to switch to another device. Well, once you start moving that Bitcoin, somebody's watching addresses. They're not going to know it's you, but they're just going to see, okay, this story came out. How much Bitcoin that hasn't moved in a year, 2 years, 5 years? How much of it starts moving, you know? And what does it cost them to fucking do this, right? From the CIA's point of view, they order one of these things, which is like $69 or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? That's nothing. And then take a picture of it and they make a news story out of it. It's just some, you know, all you see is a dude's hand. You don't know who the fuck is doing this. You can't trust any of those people. Cannot trust any of those people. Blah, 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 blah. What else? Okay. A bunch of other stuff. So let me, wow. That seems harsher than normal. Scroll back in the chat. So yeah. Michael Saylor is definitely going to buy more. Here's the thing, you know, the daily price action or the weekly price action, that's, you know, I cannot emphasize that enough. This is the wrong way to look at this. You know what I mean? There wouldn't be companies going public with this. Nations would not be adopting this if it was not a good idea, if it wasn't worthwhile, if it wasn't going to, you know, all this type of FUD, all this type of negativity is designed to get you in a certain frame of mind. You know what I mean? And you don't want to be in that frame of mind. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to be like this Pepe. Where's this Pepe? Where is it? You have to understand that online is full of deceptions. Full of deceptions. Okay? Don't be like this. The price goes down. Don't be like this Pepe. This Pepe is in a very bad place emotionally. Okay? So don't be like him. All right, you know, you have to be, you know, tougher. You have to be harder. You have to be like Detective Pepe, not suicidal Pepe. Don't be like this. This new thing is coming. Like I said, when Marco Polo brought paper money to Europe, they laughed at him and they burned the they burned the paperwork. They had no idea what they were doing. There are a lot of people who don't understand this yet, but it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere. So you need to think long distance, disconnect a little bit from social media. Zoo in the chat, Mark Cuban got rugged. Yeah, he's a garbage human being. Member of the tribe, unsurprisingly. He's absolute garbage, and so there's so many things, like once you learn to see it. I just saw the newspaper headline. There are now New York City NYPD has like 36,000 cops, right? They're not all on duty at once. It's like only about 9,000 or so at a time that are actually on duty. And that doesn't mean they're all on the street, but whatever. 4 out of 36,000 cops are now claiming that the NYPD has raised quotas for arrests. Like, that the officers are told how many black and Hispanics or something to arrest. Because, like, they would normally be arresting tons of white people, but they got to make their quota of Negroes. Like, who the fuck believes this, right? There's been stories, and there were stories last year and previously, about Rikers Island Jail, which is a huge jail. 15,000 people a day or a week go through there. I think it's a week. 15,000 can hold 15,000 people. It's a small island in the water in between Manhattan and Queens. And all these horror stories about all the negative stuff that happens in jail, like nobody knew this, right? But why are these stories coming out? The reason why is because there's nothing left to develop in Manhattan, right? Real estate, okay, in New York, and we know what that is, right, is looking for something new to develop, right? And they're trying to get Rikers Island shut down. And they're trying to get this proposal through the city council to shut down Rikers Island and to build 5 mini jails, one in all 5 boroughs, and then house the prisoners there. And they can't even figure out how to make that happen, okay? But they want that real estate so they can flatten everything there, and build luxury housing there where there used to be a jail. That's how crazy they are, not realizing that the entire city is completely built already. Like there's no room left. There's no empty room left. Where I used to live on Staten Island used to be pretty empty back in the 70s and 80s, and in the 90s they built it up like crazy. When I was a kid, when I was like a boy and like 12 years old, there was maybe 100,000 people on Staten Island, which was the forgotten borough. Now there's like 600,000 people. It's bigger than, it's at the same size as Boston. Doesn't have any tall buildings. It's all a suburban bedroom community, mostly. But it's 600,000 people. So this little island where you could have built jails, and there was a correctional facility there, got shut down years ago, but not a big one. Where are you going to house 15 all of New York's super criminals? Okay. There was one thing I didn't put it up. I got it on my phone. There are in New York City right now the police commissioner, a guy named Shea. I saw Irishman, right? Irish police commissioner, as should be. There are 5. Listen to me, 5,000 open gun cases in the New York City court system that have not been adjudicated. So there's 5,000 gun arrests. Okay, they arrest these guys. They go to jail for 3 days. You go see a judge in 72 hours. They plead not guilty. They get let go. All right, and none of these cases have come to court yet. 5,000 cases in New York City alone. Now, if you said nationwide there are 5,000 illegal gun cases that haven't been adjudicated, people would be like, wow, that's bad. That's just one fucking city. That's just New York City. This thing is bad, and it's not getting better. And all the powers that be are just thinking, they don't care. Like, they don't care that the world is on fire and there's cancer everywhere. You know what I mean? They're just like, how can we knock down this government facility and build something, luxury condos on top of it so we can make a quick buck and get the hell out of here. This is happening in New York. I'm sure it's happening in Philly. I'm sure it's happening in other cities as well. This is not going to get better. And I'm linking this to Bitcoin because the macro picture is not getting better. Okay, Donald Trump is not coming back to save you. You know what I mean? Ron DeSantis is not going to save you. What I don't know. Michelle Obama is not coming to save you. Whoever you think is coming to save you, it's not going to happen. Things are only going to get worse and worse and worse. The bubble's going to get worse and worse and worse. The economy is going to get worse and worse and worse. And where are you going to go? Where are you going to run it? What are you going to hang on to? If it's real estate, they'll tax it from you. Gold and silver, that's ridiculous. You can't transact in that. Okay, you're not going to be walking to the store to get a quart of milk with a gold coin in one hand and your fucking gun in the other. That's not going to work. Okay. So, knowing that everything is in a super bubble, you have to pick something that's uncorrelated. That's decentralized, not controlled by a corrupt government entity. Whether the corrupt government is the city government, in New York, or the state government, with Andrew Cuomo pushing you or pushing your grandparents into the nursing homes, so you can catch the super flu or whatever. They're going to do all sorts of bad things. It's your job to see what they're doing. Really, don't believe a word that they're saying. Most of the time, it's better to think the opposite of whatever the government tells you, and avoid that. Like, get out of the way of all this bad stuff. Warn who you can warn. Most people won't listen. But warn who you can warn, and get out of the way of all of this. And no one's going to come and fix the dollar. No one's going to fix the economy. BlackRock, is buying every. What did they do? They bought an entire development in Texas. In Texas, there was like a huge development, like 1,125 new homes, single-family homes, and BlackRock bought the entire development for 25% over the asking price of every single house. So BlackRock is going to turn them into what they call SFRs, single family rentals. Okay, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. Who's going to live there? How are they going to pay the rents? I have no idea. But anybody who's trying to buy a home right now, first home buyers, you're up against BlackRock. They have $9 trillion under management. You know what I mean? They can buy a whole lot of houses in all the desirable areas, and even buy houses in the non-desirable areas. They will own everything. You will own nothing, and you'll be happy or else. And there's nothing we can do to stop this. You can rage against it all you want, but you can't stop this. You have to do the best you can to defend yourself and your family from these sort of moves, and do not get sucked into things on an emotional level, whether that's a scare story, whether it's some, astro thought telling you, not only you're like, well, I can't be your girlfriend, but I can make you rich if you listen to my astrological forecast on fucking cryptocurrencies. Buy krill, buy krill and get fucking eaten by the whales. You got to be smarter than that. And it's very hard when you're constantly plugged into social media, and we are all constantly plugged into social media. So I pick up the stuff, during the week, and I try to find things that make the same point, and maybe you can learn to spot the pattern. You know what I mean? You can see the pattern of elite Jewish power and its benevolent effect, but on a smaller level, what are the things that they're trying to scare you into doing? The more frightened you are, the lower quality of your decisions, right? Panicking, nobody admires someone who panics, right? Nobody ever said, oh, I panicked and everything worked out great. You know what I mean? I panicked and everything went to shit. Panicking and hysteria is not the state to be in when you're making decisions, especially decisions that affect your future financial security. You know what I mean? So again, whether it's, they will present to you from whatever angle they need to present to you anything they think that will work, and whatever works, they'll push it more and more. So anyway, I'm actually nearly done with all this. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. We're coming up on an hour. I want to keep these shorter because really not that many people are going to stick around for much more than an hour. I know everybody used to do ridiculously long streams, but I'd rather make them shorter and sweeter and more to the point. But yeah, 57 minutes. That's that's where we are this week. You absolutely have to look past the noise, focus on that signal, focus on Bitcoin, focus on the one thing that they cannot inflate away, copy, or take from you. Okay, the thing that the feds are in a tizzy about. You know what I mean? It's boiling the oceans. Whatever. I don't know what they're going to come up with next. But a lot of good things are coming up. Like I said, Paraguay, Canadian hydroelectric mining. They're moving the Chinese mining stuff to Maryland. We got mining Bitcoin in El Salvador with volcanoes. There's a lot of good things coming, but you got to ignore this noise in front of you and not be influenced by it. Do not make decisions when you are really frightened or really horny. Even did two times when your decisions are really not going to work out. And so, whether, like I said, it's Astro thought, they'll throw something else up there. You know what I mean? If she doesn't work, they'll find somebody else that will. But yeah, stay a little bit detached, examine things closely, and examine whether whatever they're putting in front of you is true at all. You know what I mean? Or is this whole thing like the cyber hackers who send you the Ledger device that looks exactly like a Ledger device, but this one isn't? Like really, what are the chances? What are the chances of success that you just randomly mail shit out to fucking people, and then they're gonna send you their bank account information? Like, just where and what country and what zip code? None of that's in that story. You know what I mean? They show you everything, but they tell you nothing. You know what I mean? They show you all sorts of things, and you go, "Oh yeah, I believe that. Oh yeah, I have one of those. It looks just like that." But they don't tell you anything. They don't tell you who received the phony thing. They don't tell you when. They don't tell you what state or zip code. Because if they do, right, then that ruins the illusion, and you go, "Oh, I don't live there." You know what I mean? Or that's in the other part of the country for me. Or that's in Europe. So then all of a sudden you're not frightened anymore. So they need to make you frightened. They need to frighten you enough so that you make a bad decision, and then they exploit that. So please don't do that. Please don't make bad decisions under stress. Manage the stress without drugs or alcohol. Do it with just unplugging, do some exercise, whatever, walk away. Think about it differently. Examine it really critically, and you'll be far better off. Anyway, guys, we're already crossed the 1 hour mark. Like I said, trying to keep this down to 1 hour. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. The 7 people in the chat. I feel like a star. Remember, before you leave, smash up that like button. It only takes a second, and it pisses off everyone at the National Security Agency. Anyway, take care, guys, and I'll talk to you again next week.